Okay, let's do a little bit of enlargements, particularly focusing on negative and fractional, but in this case, negative enlargements. Firstly, a positive scale factor enlargement, scale factor 3. This means that the shape is going to be the same rectangle, but each side length is going to be 3 times as long. Now, if I start by taking a point here, here's my center of enlargement. This point is 2 squares away up. I can draw my ray from the center of enlargement through that point like that. Now, that one is 2 up. So when I enlarge scale factor 3, that will become 2, 4, 6 up. It's 3 times the original length. This corner here, if I draw a ray through it, is 3 away across. So when I times that by 3, it becomes 3, 6, 9 away across. And I can already spot where my last point is going to go, which is there. But I will draw the ray through it just for completeness sake. And you can see that that length here, which is 3 across and 2 up, has been tripled to get to that new point just there. So I've got my shape. This point doesn't go anywhere because it's 0 away from the center of enlargement. The center of enlargement and that corner or vertex are in the same place, so it doesn't move. And I'm just going to then complete the rectangle. That's it. I'm not going to do this one now, okay, because I don't think you'll ever have to actually enlarge a circle in that kind of way. And I want to get on to looking at the negative scale factor one. So I'm going to go straight to have a look at this one here, scale factor -2. If it's a negative scale factor, remember on the positive scale factor I went from the center of enlargement through the corner. When it's a negative scale factor, you go the other way. So instead of continuing the line here, I go behind the center of enlargement. With this one, instead of continuing my line that way, I'm going to go behind the center of enlargement. With this one, instead of continuing that way, I'm going to go behind the center of enlargement, like that. Now, scale factor -2. Well, the minus tells us we're going to go this way from the center of enlargement. The 2 tells me each side length is going to be twice as long. So let's start with this corner here. That's 1 diagonally away from the center of enlargement. So when I multiply it by my scale factor 2, and -2, it's going to go to the other side of the center of enlargement. So this point, which is 1 diagonally away, becomes 2 diagonally away in this direction. This point, which is kind of 2 up and 1 across that way, becomes 4 down and 2 across this way. 1, 2, 3, 4 down and 2 across. That point there ends up here. And then this point here, which is 1 across and 2 up, becomes 2 across and 4 down in this direction, and there it is. It's twice as big a shape. You'll see that it's the same type of triangle, but it looks like it's been rotated or inverted. And that's what happens when you have a negative scale factor enlargement, and that's the shape there. Next one, scale factor -3. So once again, I'm going to start with this point here, and I'm just going to draw a ray through that point. Obviously, pause the video any time in order to check out what's going on. So I'm going to continue this direction behind the center of enlargement because it's a negative scale factor. Let's take, I mean, there's quite a lot more points here, so it's a bit more involved. Let's take that point there, and that's 1, 3. So you have to be quite careful when you're drawing your rays that you're getting it accurate. So this point here, I might start just. Maybe I'll do 1 or 2 more to get to really be sure where the shape is. These 2 points are both along this ray. Right, and I'm going to continue that this way. And then I've only got really one more, which is this one. And I'll draw that one in as well. So that's like that. And I'm going to start plotting points. I'm going to start with this one. That's one diagonally this way. So scale factor -3 is going to go 3 diagonally this way. 1, 2, 3. 3 times as far. 1, 2, it's just here. Let's take this point. That point there is 3 and 1. Okay, 3 across and 1 up. So if I times those both by 3, because it's scale factor 3, I'm going to have to go 3, 6, 9, and 3 over here. Okay, so that point there will go to this point here. This point here is kind of the same the other way, and we'll go to this point there. So I'm starting to see how this shape looks, but I've got 2 more points to put in. This point here is just 1 across away there, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 across away here. And this point here is 2 away there, so 2, 4, 6. It will be just here. And I can now see the shape, and you've got to be careful with it. The shape here will look like this. That's the same thing, but enlarged, scale factor -3. That's a tough one. This one's much easier. Scale factor -4. It's a nice triangle, so it's less points to mark. If I draw my rays on, they go this direction. They go from there through this direction. Okay, and now that's it. So that one is 1 diagonally that way, so it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 diagonally this way. This point is 1 across that way, so 1, 2, 3, 4 across this way. That point is on the center of enlargement, so that's not going anywhere, and I've got my new shape here. Last one, scale factor -1/2. So draw my rays on from the corner through the center of enlargement out the other side. Draw another ray on here from the corner through the center of enlargement out the other side. And the last ray from the corner through the center of enlargement out the other side. Now I want scale factor minus, so I'm going this way, 1/2, so half of the original distance. So if you have a look at this one here, that distance there is kind of 2 down and 1 across, so it's actually going to become 1 up and 1/2 across. It's just here. This one, instead of being 4 across and 2 up, is 2 across and 1 up, is here. And this one, instead of 4 and 2, is 2 and 1 the other way, which is here. So then I can join that up, and the whole thing has been enlarged, scale factor 1/2, which means it's half the size it was originally, and it's been inverted, which is what happens when you do a negative scale factor enlargement, and there it is.